Welcome everybody to Inside Conversations, and today I get to be not only with a really good friend of mine, but also an extraordinary businessman. He's great at doing networking. Down the conversation, I'm gonna make sure to bring up how we both met. But in the meantime, let me give you his brief background. Anthony Lopez services on the board of directors of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce, Tri-County, and the Asian Business Association Inland Empire, helping to drive economic growth and support small businesses. With a degree in economics and MBA with an emphasis on finances, he brings a deep understanding of financial and business strategies to everyone that he works with. As the owner of Core Impact Benefits, he specializes in helping business owners maximize their return on investments in employee benefits using innovative strategies and communication tools to attract and retain top talent. This is something that is very important. But beyond his professional achievements, he is a dedicated man, a loving husband and father of 2 boys. His commitment to both careers and family was recognized when he was nominated a Father of the Year by one of his local chambers. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation that we're about to have with Anthony Lopez. As I was saying earlier, this gentleman and I had a very interesting way to meet. But if you are paying attention to this podcast, you need to learn how to do networking and how to do networking efficiently. And Anthony, you are a master at doing these things. And let me thank you for accepting to come to this insightful conversation.
Man. Yeah.
I appreciate it, brother. What made you accept the invitation? I'm curious.
Well, first off, Tony Gutierrez. This guy. Yeah, but no, I'm just all about just adding value. And to be honest, I really didn't even know really what to expect. But I'm just really excited just to have a unplanned just conversation, just like raw, and just give me the questions. And what you see is what you get with me. I'll just share with my experience. And if there's any way that anyone in the business community or anyone in the community for that matter can get value from that, I'm cool with that.
You know what? You just said a word that sparked an idea.
What's that?
You said this raw conversation.
Yeah.
And I've been calling this podcast first. It was called Road Conversations because the idea we were going to different places in Riverside hosting these conversations.
Yeah.
That got difficult to coordinate the plays and coordinate different schedules.
Right.
And then now we're doing them here in the studio here in Riverside, California, the little office. And I've been going with the topic or the theme of insightful conversations. But you just said something, and I'm going to ask you for your permission to name this podcast after what you just said, Raw Conversations.
By all means, man. By all means, go for it.
So that's going to stay recorded from now on, everybody. Welcome to Raw Conversations.
I don't want royalties after that.
Yeah. We got to make sure that
we got the contract written up.
We sign the contract, we get the LLC. But thank you. If you give me your permission, it's on camera, everybody. Welcome to Raw Conversations #1.
There you go.
With Anthony. The other 2 that we recorded with Mark and with MJ, those are insightful conversations, but now we're welcome to Raw Conversations.
There you go.
So see, this is the beautiful thing about doing networking and having somebody who's smarter than you, than me, obviously in this case you. Yeah. But you know what? I want to share with everybody how you and I met, and I'm going to make a joke out of it like we always do in our presentations, but this is the exact way to do marketing the right way. How long ago did we met?
What, 4 or 5 years? It feels like a long time.
It feels like a long time. At least for sure 3 years.
At least.
Minimum. Because both of them had I had Hazel and Jade.
Sure.
Both of my daughters, Jade is 7 now and Hazel is 3. I had her with me and we were at Target and Hazel was barely brand new baby. So she's 3 already. So at least 3 years for sure. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting in Target. This is in Chino Hills. I mean, one of those days. You just come home from having a long day. I'm sitting on the baby section. They have the couches that are comfortable to use, which most stores should have that. They should have a lounge area for parents to come and sit down and chill. So I'm sitting down with both of them, with Hazel and with Jade. And then this guy right here comes and he tells me, well, what'd you tell me?
I was like, hey man, I'm right there with you, man. Because you just looked exhausted with your 2 girls. And I had my boys too. I'm like, I'm right there with you, man. And honestly, part of me just kind of wanted to sit down in the chair too. And
you're trying to move me out of the
get
chair?
Out of the way so I can just
I see how it is.
No, but I always just recognize people in the same season in life. Like it's just, you just recognize that, like it's a struggle, being a parent and doing whatever you need to do. So I saw that, recognized that, and I had no idea it was going to lead to a friendship. But that's basically what made me want to say hi.
And look, from you stalking me at Target, coming around, I'm kidding, you didn't stalk me. But now look at that. Now we are both partners with Enleto Financial. Mm-hmm. You have your own company as well. And that simple moment of approaching somebody else and developing a willingness to develop a relationship or effective networking is what brought us to where we are today. We both know our families now. The simple fact of courage to talk to me when I'm sitting down on that chair, because how many times have somebody passed by the opportunity to strike a conversation just because they feel shy about it or they don't know what to say. But something so simple, 3 years later, now we are in business together. That is something that you are so great for doing, the networking. But do you do this often with other people?
It depends. To be honest, it depends on my mood, right?
Okay.
I wish I could say it's 100% of the time. From then, I was tired, but a lot of it comes to play. But I feel like it's not just like a business thing. It's just, I feel like, unfortunately, the world is in a place where people, when someone's trying to have a conversation, like they automatically just think that there's like some intention behind it. Or it's important to be intentional, but they think you're trying to get something, or maybe you're trying to sell something. But guys, we're human beings. Why not just acknowledge someone that's in this journey of life together with really no expectations and just having that connection, right? And just having an open-endedness of where it can lead. So to answer your question, no, I'm not like that 100% of the time, but I do my best to just be that light, out there in the community, where whether we're working in business or whether we're just having dinner with our families or just shopping around in Target, with our kids.
Yeah, that is very true. But I think that is the one thing. If you have somebody across the hallway and you know that they want to talk to you and they are holding back, what will be your piece of advice for them to learn how to break the ice?
Yeah, that's a great question. I learned this, I forgot who I learned this from. This is like about a decade ago, but that reservation of wanting to break the ice and saying hi, I think what helped me to have that courage to be able to break the ice and say hi is that whatever thoughts and reservations that we're thinking as human beings, that other person is probably thinking the exact same thing.
True. Very true.
And so if that other person is thinking that exact same thing, and if I can be out there and just kind of go through that being off of myself and just kind of adding value, wanting to add value to the other person, it allows that other person, gives them permission to now be themselves and be able to just open up as well. Now, will 100% of people want to open up? Probably not. But at least, I'm just doing my job as a good human being. And, I'm not perfect, right? But it gives permission for others to be able to be themselves. And
no, but I mean, when you put it from the point of society or being a human being, we're in a society that a lot of people have negative thoughts, or they don't feel so comfortable to just simply, out of nowhere, strike a conversation, or simply saying hello to somebody when you're walking to a complete stranger. And that is something that if you see it from that side, that's what you did. You say hi to a complete stranger, we started a conversation, and you made my moment a little bit better because I was exhausted. Now I'm talking to this guy that we have something in common.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with approaching somebody or saying hi instead of thinking negative thoughts about somebody. Simply have a blessed day, have a good day.
Right.
Or simply maybe you will start a conversation. Let's switch the conversation to business a little bit. How long have you owned your agency? And remind me the name of your agency.
It's Core Impact Benefits.
Core Impact Benefits.
So technically, I was been independent for about 7 years, but it wasn't until I don't know, and you could probably speak to this too, Tony, but I've worked with a lot of different places, but unless you're the one that actually have ownership of it, and you can't really call the shots, you're really at the mercy of whatever if you're working for a company, they might change things up on you, or working for another broker, they might change things up on you, and so it was scary, but I mean, at the end of the day, if it succeeded, if it failed, I knew that I had no one to blame but myself, and so it's been about 7 years or so, but at the end of the day, though, that's basically the motivation behind it, because I had kids, a family. You can relate to this. I don't have time to waste, and keep my kids and my family's financial future at the mercy of some other entity or someone else. At least it's something that I know that I can take ownership of and be intentional about the partnerships like that we have, and be able to partner with the people that I want to partner with, that I can see my kids growing up together. We go to each other's kids' parties.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that's what motivated me with that.
So how was that journey for you from working with another broker to saying, babe, talking to your wife, Ariel, I want to go independent. And there's a lot of people that are out there that want to go independent, but they don't take that first step. And obviously, we both can relate to that. And it is a scary situation. But how was your process? What was your structure to move forward to do it on your own?
Yeah. You know what? I did not do it on my own, though, to be honest, you know, because like I had to like pay my dues and I had to work under the tutelage of a bunch of other brokers to really learn my craft. And for free sometimes, to be honest, you know, because I had to gain that knowledge, and I think they saw how hard I worked, and that's why they took me under their wing. And there's a lot of people that, you know, I can say like I learned from, but ultimately, you know, they're looking for their families as well. And so when it comes to, and I don't blame them, it's just the name of the game. Like if they had a choice between, you know, taking care of their family or taking care of mine, I can't blame them for when the economy dips for keeping their business afloat and cutting things on mine. So that's, to answer your question, I didn't do it on my own. And I'm very grateful for the people that I've worked alongside with to help me gain those knowledge, but it didn't come free. Like I remember there was a moment where I literally had to leave my wife Ariel, my kids, you know, to San Diego for an enrollment just to watch how they did it. And I didn't get compensated for any of that. So I had to pay for my own gas, drive in traffic in San Diego, watch how they did an enrollment. And I remember from just that one enrollment, I learned like, wow, like, so this is how we're able to, you know, execute and things. And I wouldn't have learned how to do that, but it paid dividends because I learned from it, even though I didn't get compensated for that.
What made you decide for the insurance industry, specifically the group health space?
Yeah, so I always share this story for those that know me. My uncle actually got diagnosed with leukemia. Okay, when he got diagnosed with leukemia, his employer offered him a benefit that allowed him to be able to have access to a lot of funds that was able to pay for a lot of treatments that normal insurance doesn't cover. And you know, I'm very thankful that he's alive to this day, right? In fact, he actually speaks to different like churches and nonprofits and cancer societies, just giving hope for people that are diagnosed. And so seeing that, I saw that an opportunity where if I see it as a responsibility when I'm talking with a business owner. In my opinion, I think it's a fiduciary and it's the responsibility of the business owner to make benefits available to their employees, so that they can be able to literally save their employees' lives if something happens, right? Protecting their income with group life insurance, group cancer plans. There's a lot of different things we can offer, not to mention, not just like on the insurance side of things, but just simply like programs for like wellness, you know, and preventative. I'm a big advocate of like taking the nutrients and the green pill now as opposed to the white pill later, right? Like, you know, maybe exercise programs and things to increase the well-being of your employees, right? And so why I'm so passionate about group health benefits is because although I like that one-on-one, I feel like through taking care of groups, we're able to widen the net, so to speak, and be able to add more value to more people, you know, through the decisions of the business owner and making those benefits available to their team.
I see. How complicated or how much do you have to be up to date when there's like Obamacare? Then you have different rules getting involved from the government getting involved in the space, or how convoluted does it get for you? To me, it's complicated, and this is why I partner up with you. This is why you run the group health division here at Level Financial, because there is a lot that goes behind it. How is that process for you every single year?
Yeah, so we have to get certified each year. You know, I am covered California certified, because like you said, the laws do change constantly, and just in insurance in general, not just the health insurance, right? It's constantly changing. We have to be a masters of our craft, and I'm still learning as well. But I like to say that I try to keep my advisors like close to me, like just trying to stay in touch with certain organizations and things that help educate. But to answer your question about what was the question again? Something about compliance and
how do you right. So do you have a time block that you have to make sure that you're reading your compliances and everything up to date? How often do you have to be briefing up on that?
So it's kind of like little things here and there. So there's of course a lot of intentional times where I'm doing my CEUs, where I go to different events. One that I invited you to, remember? So there's those things that are annual where they kind of give you updates. Or sometimes you'll get emails. So those groups that I'm part of, they'll send me emails and I'll just do a quick read through. You know, maybe it's not necessarily one time set aside, but if I see it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this looks important. Like I gotta be in the know of this, right? And so there's webinars that are there, and just also other fellow brokers that are in the space, maybe longer than I am, or maybe they have more experience in different industries or size groups than I do. I could pick their brain and kind of keep me in the loop. So it really does go down to, you know, your network is your net worth, because I can't do this on my own. Like so, just having other people that are in that journey in the industry as well to kind of pick their brain and learn from them also.
Right. Now, how was the relationship with Ariel how did she take it when she knew that you wanted to go on your own?
Yeah.
Because obviously for me, I'm here because Wendy, my wife, she allows me to be here because she helps me and supports me in everything that I do. And I know there's been some situations that I met other entrepreneurs that don't move forward with what their vision could have become a reality because they get stuff at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not that easy to say I'm going to go and open up my own business when there's no guarantee of income coming in. You know, so that is not something that we can take lightly. And honestly, being an entrepreneur, it's tough. It really is. I don't know why we choose to do this, but yeah, we still choose to do it, and we are still here. It takes a different type of man to do this type of job, or woman as well.
Right.
But how important has it been for you, the support from your wife to do this?
For sure. She's the backbone of everything, Ariel. So if she ever hears this, shout out to you. Love
Shout
you.
out to her. You better like, subscribe.
No, but yeah, you know, like I wouldn't have been able to have the strength. She's very encouraging. I'm very blessed. I know, and everyone has different stories, right? You know, maybe someone is single, or maybe whoever's listening to this doesn't have a supportive spouse that, like the blessing that I have. But just speaking for me, like my journey, like that is one thing that I'm so thankful to God for. Regardless, whatever faith you have, for me, that's my faith. You know, before even business, and I knew that I wanted to do something that contribute to the community. But I remember I asked when I had a really bad breakup back in college, and I said, you know, God, send me someone that is so in tune with you, so, you know, connected with you, that it's going to take me to get through you to get to her. And then 3 months later, I met her, and then it's, you know, it's been great ever. I mean, just ups and downs, obviously, right?
Right.
But yeah, she's just supportive of me, you know, and she's been there. She's encouraging, but at the end of the day, if I could pick my business or my wife and my family, it's not even a question, you know. Like my non-negotiable is my wife and my kids. Like I'll drop the business and do everything. Like that's secondary. In fact, they're the fuel that keeps the business going for me.
You know, you said something right now, and you know I'm very vocal about it. My relationship with God, and it's Jesus Christ, and that to me is my God and my ruler. I was not always this person. You know, I have a complete different background, and how I came to meet God, I had to be with the devil, because just like God is real, the devil is real. And how I came to meet God, I went through a lot of different situations that I took the wrong decisions. How was your process? When did you came to meet God? How was that? How was that?
Oh man, that's you want to know the actual?
Yeah, this is raw
This is
conversations.
raw, yeah,
Come on,
true.
this is raw conversations.
So
brother.
okay, sure, I'll share it. So back in, oh man, I don't know. Let's just say I did a bunch of things that could have probably put me in prison. Okay. And it wasn't until I started seeing, because see, back when I was in younger days, right, like in the teenager 20s,
we're both
right? I know,
the
but I always thought my decisions only impacted myself. And then you know, I matured a little bit. I'm still got some maturing to do, but I started realizing, like, even every action and decision that I thought only impacted myself, I started seeing how it impacted others. Specifically like my brother and my parents, and now I'm even seeing it more so like with my children and my wife, like that our decisions and our actions we think only affect ourselves, actually it affects so many other people. That's when I realized, like, and I got kind of even shared, and again, regardless of what your faith, this is my faith, this is what I heard, and it wasn't really vocal, but I felt in my heart, like, why are you leading my people away from me? Like, because, you know, like, because I was a big influence, like, that's when I realized, like, how much of an influence I had, like, with my circle of friends and my peers. And I realized, you know what, whether I like it or not, I have an influence, and I am, like, a leader in my community, whether I like it or not, based on my actions and what I do and what I say.
I'm listening.
And that's the reason why, that, to answer your question, that's what I said, you know what, I can't do this on my own. I need some type of spiritual anchor. You know, for me, it's Jesus Christ, or God, to really keep me rooted on my decisions and and where I'm taking my business, what I'm doing with my life, you know, my family. It's a lot of pressure. For those of us that have families, there's a lot of pressure to provide for a family. You know, the different decisions about where to live, you know, what simple things. It's a lot of different things, right? But if you're always, it's a lot of, if you're trying to do everything on our own, it's a big burden. You know, very stressful, right? But if we know that we're not on our own, that we have like something of a higher power, right? Then it just kind of keep things a lot more light, you know. Like you're just kind of, everything's you get in the people are gonna come, like you.
you know, and
those friendships. So.
As you're saying that, I was taking a note. What has held you back from being vocal about it? Like, to me, it held me back, the fear of losing business, the fear of what would somebody think if I come in and vocal about my faith and my relationship with God, with Jesus Christ. That was something that held me back until I said, you know what am I doing? Why am I holding back to give him the credit first and foremost? I'm here because of him. I was supposed to be dead at the age of 12. That's what the doctors told my mom. I'm still alive. I'm blessed to say that I have a family. My daughters are healthy. We have a business that I'm going through a lot of trials and tribulations. But yet, to me, it becomes about the Great Commission. And we talked about this last week on Friday on our Bible study, is go out there and make disciples of others. But to me, my moment when I said I'm planting my flag here, and I chose to be baptized again about 2 years ago. I was baptized and raised as Catholic, and I was baptized when I was a little baby, but I was not aware of my baptism. So to me now is like you say, regardless of the religion that you believe in, this is my religion, this is my faith, is I felt it in my gut, literally, to be baptized again, to release or to renounce all of my past life. Just like you said it earlier, you did a lot of things that probably could have landed you in a different place. So did I. But I said, you know what, God, this is enough. I'm done living this lifestyle, and I'm coming, and I want to be reborn again, which is pretty much what the baptism signifies, is you're reborn again, and you're letting that person in the past, the person that you used to be, you're burying it to become a better person, which is to give God the glory. Obviously, none of us are perfect. All we can do is strive, but knowing that, man, we had this awesome guy who came and he accepted to be crucified. He knew this was going to happen. He knew he could have walked away, and yet he didn't do it. He decided and he accepted his faith that his dad had put on him because he loved us, because he has grace upon us. And grace is that love that we give to our kids. Even though when they make mistakes, we still love them because they're our kids. That is the same love that he feels for us, to the point that he died a very painful death. So to me, it's like I'm not gonna stay quiet because they're pushing down another agenda, and it's left and right on TV and in the schools, and yet whether we don't accept it, we have to eat it. We have to chew the pill that they were throwing down our throat for such a long time. And I say, why do I have to be quiet? Why can I just tell somebody how much I believe in him and in my faith in him? But if I talk about him, why would somebody right away lash at me? And then I say, well, that's their problem. Why am I staying quiet? So that is my process. Part of who I am. Tony is the Tony in business, the Tony at the home, but Tony within God and my relationship with him. This is an intimate question, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Sure, that's fine.
But this is raw conversations.
Yeah, raw conversations.
What has held you back from being vocal about your relationship with him? When I know a lot of the stories that you've been through, and you know a lot of my stories that I've been through, and not everybody gets to go through what we experience. Those are serious testimonies.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's like I forgot who said it, but it's something in the effects of like your action speaks so loud that I can't hear the words that you're saying.
Okay.
So to answer your question about what stopped me from being vocal, I mean, I'll be vocal about it when the opportunity arises. But me personally, since you asked that question, like I like to say, like I'm just unapologetically myself. I try to be, and for me, again, that's my faith. And if it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I would hope that, by the way that I live my life and the way that I conduct business, the way that they see how I'm prioritizing my family, that people will ask, like, oh, what is it? Like you're right with this platform right now. You're asking, like, what is it that helps you? For me, it's my God, Jesus Christ, and then I'm not going to share that exactly until people give me permission or ask, right? And then I think because he asked it, and for me personally, I'm not going to share that if it's going to be landing on deaf ears. It's kind of like, you're sharing something, but then if someone doesn't have ears to hear or eyes to see, then it's just kind of, now people have different opinions on it, but for me, I'm just going to do what I need to do to add value, to make an impact. And then when people see the impact that they're making, and there really is it's not like I'm just trying, they see that I truly care. And I know that's just words, right? Like, do they really care? Like, yeah, I do, because I think, of course, we all want to make money, we want to make income, we want to provide for our family. But I think that having that significance of wanting to, I like to call them human trophies, right? So where you invest your time and your money into someone and you see them, become the versions of themselves. And then, or even like with the groups that I have, like I love seeing a group that starts, like I have that like 2 to 3 employees and I see them growing, right? And, and I'm just, because of the time that I invested, and sometimes in the beginning, sometimes there's some groups where I'm like, man, is this group really worth it? Like servicing them so much, and you know what I mean? Like, man. But then like, you know what? Like you do good by others, it just comes back, you know? And so, and yeah, I mean, I guess if people ask about it, yeah, I'll share it. But I'm not sure that answers your question, but
No,
I just
it
want
does.
to, yeah,
It's
I just want to be
sentiment.
able, I just want to be able to just kind of share it by the way that I conduct my business, the way that I present myself, you know, and if people ask, then I'll share, right? But for me personally, I feel like if you're just kind of sharing like things about like your faith and like and they don't have ears to receive it, then it's kind of like a waste of breath. Well, actually, I kind of disagree. Not a waste of breath. I think that, in my opinion, like it's always good to share. It's going to land somehow. You know, this somehow.
I think
trying to explain
the way I see that one and why I'm vocal, I'm aware that not everybody's ready to hear this type of message, and not everybody wants to hear this type of message. I'm aware of that. However, it's best to me, in my opinion, that they will hear it. Whether they want to accept it or not, then that is up to them. You know, it's somewhere in the Bible. I don't know exactly where it is, but you're either planting the seed and it's going to fall on fertile ground or it's going to fall on fertile ground. But at the end of the day, it's up to, I will say it up to me because I like to do this. This is what I love the most about what I do. Between mixing knowledge, the conversations that we're having when we do presentations, you've seen my presentations, I'm talking about God, and you're the one that told me maybe you should add this disclosure. It's every opportunity that I get to talk about Him, and this platform, by the way, Rock Conversations, you can expect this. This is the reason why I'm creating this platform is because I want to get to find out how other business owners like yourself and other ones like myself, they either have a relationship with Him or not, besides also being curious about who you are. You know, but to me, it's like I would much rather throw the seeds out there and see which one's gonna grow versus keeping all these seeds in my pocket. And what good is it for me to say, yeah, we built an amazing company that is paid over $2 million and I can go on and rant on about the blessings that we have created within the businesses. But when I'm gone, like what is that really gonna do? Well, to me, the true gift, the true trophy, like you said, is like being able to establish a conversation with somebody, and once I leave and I plant the seed, maybe it'll grow or maybe it won't. But I did my part. You know, so at the end of the day, that's what you do when you're sowing. It's just the more plants you put out there, the more seeds you put out there, the more they were gonna are gonna grow and they're gonna become fertile. And I can tell you that I had a lot of conversations with people that they don't expect this type of conversations coming from me. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you? It's like, are you a pastor? I'm not a pastor. Are you no, I'm not. I'm not any of these things. I'm just simply somebody who I've known God. I've got to know Jesus, and I got into accepting Him, and I see how much changes He's made in myself. Because that is the one thing is it's salvation for ourselves that He come and grants us. It's up to us whether we want to accept it or not. But when you have a society out there that is completely shut down to listen to this type of message, maybe because they have bad experiences at the churches, for whatever reason they stop themselves from building a relationship with God, with Jesus, because of whatever might happen in different churches. But it's God came, Jesus came, and He fought the churches. He was crucified pretty much by the church that He came to talk to. So that to me is like He rounded out 12 guys minus one, and then it's all of us. It's still that one. He was crucial part for whatever had to happen. But it was the 12 people that look after 2,000 years later or more. He's the greatest person on earth. We still talk about Him, and some people talk negative about Him, but guess what? They're still talking about Him. You know, so to me, it's like it's nothing wrong with being vocal to see if that person might receive the message and they might be looking for it. Because we know how stressful it is to be in business. You know it's not an easy road. But like you said earlier, like I get it's like a fork. I can either do this road on my own understanding or I can do it with the grace of God. You're still going to have the same problems, but you get to do it by the hand.
And I think it goes down to like praying for the wisdom on like how to go about doing it. Because I don't think there's necessarily one right or wrong way. Because some people are more visual or just, you know, you build that friendship and maybe like words are going to be the best and sometimes words may not be the best. It's like, you know, when we're talking to our spouse, when we're talking to our clients in the process, there's times to speak and there's times to not and listen. So I think at the end of the day, going to your point about like sharing about God, like I in my opinion, I feel like I can be able to evangelize and share my faith without having to say a word, but just by like the way that I'm living my life. Not to devalue using words as well, like there's time and place, right? But I think that just really discerning when to speak and when not to speak, and you know when to actually be very vocal about it and when not to be vocal about it, because it might actually trigger someone that had bad experiences in that, right? And I think that just all goes down to communication, right? And then it's not something that, in my opinion, I think sometimes people use it as a cop out, like, oh, I'm introverted, or you know, I'm not really a good communicator. Well, get better at it. You know, like, you know, there's a lot of things to go out there and get outside of our comfort zone. There's books to read, seminars to attend. You know, I forgot what that phrase is, but the next level of where we want to be in our businesses and our life is right on that border of like past our comfort zone, right? And so, but going back to your question, like I think that yes, it's important to be vocal about it, but I think that just like in the sales cycle and just like in anything when we're talking with clients or anything, sometimes there's times to talk and sometimes there's times to not.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
No. That's the whole point about having a conversation. It's 2 points to it. It's not just hear what I'm here to shove down your throat. Listen to what my message is like. That's what makes a great society is the ability to be able to communicate with somebody, which I think that has been lost in this society where we are today. Hopefully it gets better, but it got into a point that it got divided by political views, by political beliefs. It got divided in such a way that you cannot even have a conversation with most of the people about what you believe or where you stand, because the other person might flip on you. And I think if we start to bring it back down to the basics, if we bring it from the business perspective, it's like you have to be able to listen to somebody else if you want to make a sale. You got to listen to them. You may not like it, but you listen. And if you're trying to make a sale, you're not going to fight it. You learn to accept that if we were to implement the same mentality that we implement in business in our personal life, that you don't have to accept what they're going to tell you, but just listen to them. Doesn't mean you're going to come and flip out on them. That would be a different message too.
Right. And you know what? It also goes down to our values ultimately. I remember one of my friends. He owns a kind of like promotional packages or things for like for companies, and then on the hats. They wanted him to do a whole bunch of hats with like an upside down cross, and then he just like, that's kind of pushing the limit. I can't do that. And he would have made like hundreds of thousands. It's a good account, but it just goes to show like yes, of course we want to listen. We have to but you have to also stand on the values of what you stand for. I mean, I'm not trying to like push Christianity per se, but whatever those values are for us, like it's like one of those things. You stand for something or you're gonna fall for anything, right? So have standards and have values about what we stand for, like on our personal life and on our business, because like you can make a lot of money, but all that money you make, but then like you're kind of like throwing everything and all your beliefs and out the window, and so I know it's kind of a side topic, but
this is what this is about. This is not just about business. This is about life.
Right.
To kind of summarize, and you just said something. You have to stand for your beliefs. And we'll wrap up this conversation with these questions. What does Anthony stand for? What are your beliefs?
Yes. So it's my God. Okay. Jesus Christ, my God, my faith, my family. Okay. Next is my health. Okay. Because without my health, and it's kind of tied up there with my family. Some people like, no, sometimes you can't prioritize health too much. I'm like, no, dude. If my health isn't there, I'm not there for my family. If anything were to happen to me. So it's kind of like up there, kind of close to number two with my family. And the next thing is going to be making an impact. So whether it be through my business, whether it be through just having a conversation, and just sharing. And again, not necessarily through words, but just by our actions and how we're living our life. And again, I'm not perfect at this, but I try to live my life consistent with what I'm saying right now. Sometimes for me, I'll be totally transparent. Sometimes it's uncomfortable for me to share some of these things because by saying these things, especially on something recorded like this, it holds me accountable to be living my life at a higher standard, right? But what I realize is that if I'm saying something and I fail to live up to what I said that I do, at least I know I'm stretching, right? It holds me accountable. I'm gonna be stretching way more than if I didn't say anything at all, and so that's something I'm working on. But to answer your question, my God, my faith, my family, my health, and just making an impact in the community. Anthony. Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you coming, making the time to come all the way to the office. I know it's a drag for you to come.
No, it's all good.
It's hard to get you, pull you to the office, pulling the red carpet for you.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What are your values?
Oh, man, God. Jesus Christ is my first and foremost, my first value. Myself is if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to care for somebody else? How am I going to care for my family, my wife, my people, my son? Like, well, how come your wife come third? The way I see it is I'm in this life thanks to God. So he's my priority. And God has put me in this earth for a purpose. And if I don't fulfill the purpose that he's brought me to this life, then I fail. I'm not going to win the next life. So that's why I put myself, God, myself, my wife, my family, my business at the bottom. Because through what God has done through me, and I'm going to keep on sharing this more on my personal content on Reels, is show how I came to meet God. I was a guy that I used, and I said this on the last podcast when I was invited with Joe Chavez. Last year, I smoked 4 times marijuana. I'm openly saying it. I mean, now smoking marijuana is like having a beer. 4 times in the whole year. The year before that, Anthony, I can tell you pretty much most of the year I smoked it. How was I able to quit or to slow down smoking marijuana when I was an addict to it? Coming from a past life of music, playing the house of blues, playing a life, living a lifestyle of drugs, which I'm very vocal about it. I defeated, thanks to God, porn addiction. I was not the guy that I am out today 2.5, 3 years ago. And I'm this new person thanks to him. And the reason why he becomes my first reason of my values is because he has saved me. I was supposed to be dead at the age of 12. I heard the doctors tell my mom, and I still decided to live a life of complete immorality. That person is dead. Now it's God, I'm here, and it's to do this. It's to talk about you, to share my testimony. So I cannot make somebody else the first priority in my life. And I have to prioritize myself second, because if I don't take care of who I am and if I don't stand in my grounds, like you just said earlier, everything's being recorded and hopefully people will see it. Hopefully people will look at the podcast and this actually begins to grow. And then I have the faith that it will, because this is the type of message that we're going to be talking about. Is I have to put me second behind him, because I'm his pedestal. I'm on his pedestal, and I'm thanks to him, I'm be able to do all this work. And if it wasn't because of my wife, she saved me. She saved me. Anthony, I'll share with you real quick. Wendy and I have broken up, okay, for about 1.5 years. And I remember going to church. And I'm at the church, I was tired. Literally, I'm talking to God and I'm telling God, I am tired of this lifestyle. I am tired of the wine night stands. I am tired of always bouncing around and not having one person that I can be with. And then just have a girlfriend and go have coffee. And after I had that with Wendy for about 1 year, we broke up. And I asked God, please send me the woman to my life that I can just have, I can live the rest of my life with, and I can have a family. But I also asked him, please make sure that when you send me this sign, I'll be able to see the sign so clearly that I will not walk away from it. And I promise you that when you send me the sign, I will walk it. I will go through it. Not even a second after I said that, my phone rings. And I'm in church. I take out my phone and I look at it, boom. It's Wendy calling.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm looking at the phone and I'm literally saying, seriously? that fast? Like, okay, I told you I was going to listen to you. And I did. And I still made a lot of mistakes. Even after we got back together, I wasn't the man that I should have been towards her. I wasn't honoring her the way I should have been honoring her. But I changed. So when you come to what are my values, those are my values. God, myself, my wife, my family, the business, and being able to evangelize, just spread his message as much as I can. I'll leave it up for discussion.
Yeah.
Maybe you think this is wrong. I shouldn't put myself second. I'm very curious. Maybe you do think I should put myself second. But this is something that I invite everybody to do, is what are your values? What do you really stand for? And with that being said, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Honestly, brother. Thank you so much for accepting to come over to this raw conversation.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you guys and ladies. I really pray that you find this content entertaining, that you will get some value out of it. This podcast, Raw Conversations, is sponsored by Leto Financial and Insurance Services, which Anthony is one of the partners here at the office. He runs the group health division, employee health benefits, I should say. If there's anybody out there, businesses that are looking to save taxes, there's so many professional financial strategies that we can implement that can help you save a lot of money in taxes. If you are looking to retain top of your talent, you got to come and talk to Anthony, offering them health benefits, offering them financial benefits. That's where David comes in as well here at Leto Financial. So this podcast wouldn't be able to come alive if it wasn't for the sponsorship and the investments of Leto Financial and Insurance Services, local here in the city of Riverside. And I want to thank your business. Please tell us about your business, Anthony.
Yes, core impact benefits, help attract, retain employees. Health insurance is super expensive. So I'm just here as a resource with a lot of government-funded subsidies to help small business owners that it's basically free money from the government. Well, technically not free money by taxpayers, but it's money dedicated to small businesses to help them with on-the-job training for new hires. There's a lot of resources. So whether or not we help you on the benefit side, we just want to connect you to those resources and help you thrive.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, there you guys have it. Looking forward to seeing you for the next Raw Conversation. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. And God bless.